Sports Desk basketball analyst and PBA legend, point laureate, Coach Ronnie Magsanoc, and our correspondent, Pauline Verzosa. Good morning, Pauline. Good morning, Coach Ronnie. Welcome back.
Hi, Jay. Thank you.
Okay, Coach Ronnie, Pauline, 1-1 series now. Grabe. After that blowout win by Ginebra in Game 1 Friday, binawian naman ng San Miguel yesterday with a blowout win of their own. Coach Ronnie, it's not the close game or close series so far. Yet. Na what people wanted or expected or hoped for. But bawian ng blowout loss. Can we expect this or baka maging close eventually in the series?
Naniniwala ako that game number 3 will be very, very different. Tapos na yung filling out process, tig-isa na sila ng gulpi de goal at tinatawag. And I believe that the defensive game plans of these two respective coaches will eventually come into play as early as game 3, which will be on Wednesday.
Pao here, Coach Ron, let's take a look first at San Miguel. Nung Friday nga, they lost by 28 points, and then in Game 2, they won naman by 25. How did San Miguel, Coach Ronnie, nakita mo? What can you say na may iniba ba? May binago ba si Coach Leo dito? Kasi all of a sudden, they really literally turned things around.
Isa sa mga binago niya yung starting unit niya. Alex Cabagnot was a part of the starting unit in Game 1. In that loss, he came off the bench. 2, yung matchups, meron siyang mga ilang ginawa para mas mababa yung efficiency ng Ginebra because anytime you are at 60+% from the field at yung plus-minus mo, overwhelming advantage laban sa'yo, may naging problema ka. At inayos din nila yung paghawak nila, pag-execute dahil hindi na sila masyado nagtapon and they hit their shots. It's that simple.
They were knocking down shots in Game 2, you're right. Speaking of Alex Cabagnot, let's take a look at Alex's numbers. Career high for him in Game number 2. Only 5 points in Game 1, then 33 in Game 2. Here are the graphics, Coach Ronnie. And even Arwin Santos did tell me, nasabi niya, we need you in the series. At yun nga ang ginawa ni Alex, nagpakita siya in Game 2.
I'm really not surprised with the bounce back performance of Alex Cabagnot. Yung AC ni Alex Cabagnot, all clutch yan eh. He's been doing this for the longest time, always under the radar dahil sa roster power na meron sila. But pag kinakailangan, pag tinawag ang pangalan, there's no doubt that he can deliver. Imagine 33 points in the finals, but more than that, plus 9 assists in 37 minutes. Bihira mo makita si Alex na back-to-back na lackluster games. Alam mo na he can take charge. But one thing I like about the way he played last night, he was in control. Nagkakagulo, relax siya.
Kalmado siya.
Nagkakabanatan, relax siya. Eventually, he came out unscathed and he'll be ready once again to play his best come Wednesday.
Paui, did you, of course, you got to talk to Coach Leo, but did he mention anything about Alex Cabagnot's stellar performance in Game 2?
Yeah, you know, Coach Leo Austria did mention that Alex, his shooting percentage was really the winning factor for them in this game. Career high 33 points. He described it as Alex being obsessed in Game 2. He showed that he really wanted to win and he knew the importance of the second game. Meanwhile, for Alex, he did say that coming into this game, he watched extensive film and made the right adjustments. So come game day, he said gladly that his shots were just going in, but he also did mention that it's not necessarily going to work in Game 3, so he still has to stay ahead of the learning curve.
Aware naman siya, aware to si Alex na mag-a-adjust naman tong kabila, tong Ginebra sa kanyang Game 3.
Hindi mag-adjust.
Oo, especially pumutok to ng 33.
Two-time Grand Slam coach yan.
Ito naman ang surprising standout. Di masyadong, Christian Standardinger, si Stan. Of course, you've worked with him sa FIBA 3x3, Coach Ronnie. Dahil hindi siya masyado nag-perform nung elimination. Sabi nga ng iba, ano ba yan? Number 1 pick, ganyan. But now, games 1 and 2, combining for 46 points, 15 rebounds, 24 minutes in Game 1, 27 minutes in Game 2. What can you say about C-Stan? And he has really found his stride, Coach Ronnie.
Is the ultimate bench weapon right now para kay Coach Leo Austria. Let me go back for a few months. Kaya naman hindi nakapagpakita to na maaga. When it came in, may tama eh.
Injury.
Oo. Kaya rin nawala, after maglaro sa 3x3, nasaktan. So this is the best time for him to repay the time given to him by Coach Leo and the rest of the Beermen na inantay siya. Inantay siya eh. But remember that before he played in the PBA, he was a national player already for the Philippine team. At alam mo, when we had this team function dun sa 3x3 sa World Cup, lahat ng nakita kong teams kilala siya eh. Nagulat ako dahil talaga nilalapitan. Ibig sabihin, extensive ang global exposure na itong manlalarong to, kilala siya. Hindi lang siya binabate, kinakausap nila. And they recognize marunong at magaling. So, Stan Hardinger is not an ordinary player. He is a franchise player. Kung ilalagay mo sa ibang team, kakayahan na ganyan. Buwabantay ng import. Kalaban nito, mga imports na 7-footers.
Oh, it's ABL.
Yes. So, in terms of being surprised with his performance, no. I was talking to him a day after. He was so sad after his first game in the PBA. I told him it's only a matter of time before you adjust, before you adapt, and before you dominate. And right now, he's playing up to expectation.
Coach Ronnie, ito na ba yung the best of Christian Stan Hardinger or we haven't seen yet the best of C-Stan?
Hindi pa. Like Alex Cabagnot, the really good players are students of the game. They try to learn from their opponents and they try to study what went wrong, what could be better, and how can they help the team win. Meron siya nun. Napaka-inquisitive nitong mga lalaron to. He's no longer young. He's 28. He's been around. At he wants to win. They did not win in the ABL. We did not win in the World Cup 3x3. But he wants to win with the San Miguel Beermen.
How did you get to talk to C-Stan or maybe Coach Leo regarding Christian Stan Hardinger's performance so far in the 2 games in the finals?
Well, actually, just like what Coach Ronnie said, sabi nga ni Coach Leo, prior to this game, he wasn't 100% yet because of his knee injury. But he told him, just be patient. You'll get into the rotation. And interestingly, sabi nga ni Coach Leo kay, he revealed na Christian was nagtatampo na prior to the finals. Kasi nga, sobrang limited ng minutes niya in the elimination round, quarterfinals. But, come the finals, he proved that his importance is evident.
Natural yung pagtatampo ng players, kasama yan.
Looking ahead now, Coach Ronnie, what can San Miguel do? Obviously, even with the ejections of Arwin Santos, Chris Ross, but the momentum is now with San Miguel, clearly here after. But who knows? But may gusto ko pa bang makita sa San Miguel na kailangan pa lang ayusin or gawin dito moving forward to Game 3?
Gusto makita, it's just the aggressiveness, it's just the mindset that they cannot fall behind early because prior to the finals, marami silang laro na nalalamangan sila pero sa husay nila at sa experience nila, kaya nilang kayurin pabalik. But in Game 1, Ginebra proved that pag nilamangan ka rin namin, may hirapan ka rin sa amin bumalik. So, the only way for the series to be tighter is for the two teams to start out really hot, which we haven't seen so far. In Game 1, it was all Ginebra. In Game 2, it was all San Miguel. But in Game 3, expect things to be different. Anong gusto kong makita sa San Miguel? To still play their bully basketball style. When they're up, it's so hard to catch up with them. Panalo na sila, hindi naman sila nananakit. Pero the statement that they sent is not just through winning big. But if you are to take away our crown, it's not going to be easy and we will not allow it. Yun yung mensaheng nakita ko kay Chris Ross, kay Arwin Santos. Magagaling kayo, pero sa ngayon, mas magagaling pa kami at hindi magiging madali kung gusto nyo kunin sa amin yung corona. Because tandaan natin, it was Ginebra who denied San Miguel its first look at the Grand Slam before Coach Leo won it on his second try.
What went wrong for Barangay Ginebra in Game 2 after that incredible statement of a win in Game 1, Coach Ronnie, for you?
I thought that defensively, they could not contain their matchups. San Miguel shot the ball so well that they had 75 points by halftime. By halftime, Alex Cabagnot already was a dominant force. And San Miguel, I believe, had 6 players in double figures. Can't happen if you want to win because if you take a look at the comparative numbers, Ginebra is supposedly the better defending team. Nung pumalo sila ng halos 130 points doon sa Game 1 na panalo nila, mainly it was because San Miguel could not really shoot the ball well from the start to the finish. And it was because of Ginebra's defense on San Miguel's gunners. This time around, hindi kumapit yung depensa, nagtapon sila ng marami, at lahat ito against an elite team, talagang masasaktan ka. So they did not start out well, and even if they made a comeback in the third quarter against a very good team, katulad na nangyari laban sa San Miguel in Game 1, hindi ka makakahabol.
Justin Brownlee, no surprises. Pinag-uusapan natin to along with Coach Yang and Pauline Friday. A very talented import. Very skilled.
It's a throwback import, Andre.
I like that. Yung old school throwback import. Actually, brings me memories like mga Chambers, yung mga tipong
Bobby Parks, Norman Black. Yung no nonsense, walang yabang, walang angal, walang sisi. Laro, panalo, uwi. Laro, panalo, uwi. Parang makina eh.
In Game 1, makina talaga. Brownlee tallied a whopping 42 points, shot 17 out of 19 from the field. He also had 7 rebounds and 9 assists, while the rest of the starters had 47 points. Then in Game 2 naman, he had 29 points on 11 out of 14 shooting.
Sumasablay, di ba?
Then 6 rebounds and 5 assists, while the rest of the starters had 33. Coach Ronnie, Game 2, Is it a cause of concern for Barangay Ginebra? It's just Justin Brownlee working, missing 5 shots only in the 2 games. Grabe.
71 points in 2 games. Alam mo, when we faced them in the series, you were hoping that because he played in the ABL, because he has not yet rested for the year, that eventually he will be tired because of his extended and extensive minutes. Pero siguro, thoroughbred, siguro, iba talaga yung pedigree. Yung getting tired is not in his system. His efficiency is way up there. But one thing is certain, he makes his teammates better. At he's looking ahead of his matchup laban kay Balkman. Kung magkamali, bihira eh. Kung magkamali, nananalo pa rin eh. Kaya ang ganda nila panuorin pareho ni Balkman dahil they can dominate with their scoring, they can defend. But one thing so nice to watch about these 2 reinforcements, kabisado na nila yung timpla ng Pilipino at kontrolado na nila kung paano manalo dito sa local scene.
Pao, you said in your report that Coach Tim Cone felt humiliated in that blowout loss. Ano yung nasense mong biggest concern from Coach Tim?
You know, after that, during the post-game press con, Coach Tim Cone really looked subdued. He did say that prior to this game, they were already talking about how San Miguel could turn the tables and do the exact same thing to them, and they didn't believe it until it happened. But in this game, their biggest concern was their 19 turnovers. Definitely, San Miguel went on to turn this into their transition points. They scored 27 out of Ginebra's 19 miscues. So this really became a cause of concern for their blowout defeat, and it's something they have to improve on in Game 3.
Coach Ronnie, you also wanted to highlight L.A. Tenorio because yung kanyang counterpart, Alex Cabagnot, ito na, nag-career high 33 points. And people are saying, maybe we can expect 1 game or 2 games na puputok sila Teniente. But so far, hindi pa nangyayari yun. 9 points in 32 minutes. Let's take a look. L.A., 9 points in 32 minutes in Game 1. And then 13 points naman in 37 minutes in Game 2. Your thoughts on L.A. Tenorio?
I believe that San Miguel was able to win, even with Ross, scoreless in Game 2. But Ginebra was not able to pull off that 2 consecutive wins because Brownlee was nearly by his lonesome in terms of efficiency. I believe that for San Miguel or San Miguel, Barangay Ginebra to pull off this win, in games 3 and 4, kailangan si LA makatulong in terms of leadership, 1. 2, better efficiency. 3, yung defensive presence has to be there. Si LA lang kasi nakikita ko sa barangay na in terms of fire and vocal leadership na kinakailangan talaga nila from the opening tip to the final buzzer. Dahil sa San Miguel, marami yan eh. May Ross, may Cabagnot, may Arwin Santos. Sa barangay, meron silang Scotty, pero si Scotty hindi nagsasalita. Kumakayod lang na parang kabayo, pero yung vocal leadership, yan yung madadali ng LA. It may not necessarily come through points, but the leadership has to be there for LA to help Ginebra succeed.
Now let's talk about the physicality of Game 2. Yung nga, nabanggit natin kanina.
Kasama yan.
Oo, kasama yan. Arwin Santos got ejected. Pawi, how did the 2 teams respond after the game? After what happened, ejections for San Miguel, Brownlee fouling out for Ginebra?
So yeah, I asked Coach Leo Austria about this, and he said that he supports his players despite the intensity. It's really part of the championship game, but he did warn them that they should be smart next time because the technical fouls, mapa-fine sila dun eh. Si kay Coach Tim naman, he did mention na even though they're sister teams, they're not friendly with each other. Parang they're the mountain to be conquered. So he expects Game 3 to be a lot chippier. Meanwhile, for Chris Ross, he did say that the technical foul given to him wasn't unfair. He was just going to accept whatever the refs gave him. He just went back to the locker room without any fuss, right? Because he says it's part of the game. Meanwhile, for Brownlee, he was fouled out. He said it's just part of the turnover performance he had last night. So.
Coach, binabanggit nga ni Pao parang ko ina-expect it will get chippier. Can we expect more physicality? Kasi kasama nga talaga to, especially with the new rules. Then sa PBA, mas allowing yung physicality, and these 2 teams, walang sister team eh. Bakbakan talaga eh.
Maski anong serya naman ang pag-usapan mo, tignan mo, talagang ganun. Kasi kayo nang kayo magkalaban eh. The stakes are higher. San Miguel is chasing another Grand Slam year. Ginebra would like to win a crown outside of the Governor's Cup. Will it get more physical? I'd say easily yes. Chippy, wala pa yan nakikita natin. Right now, it's a best of 5 series. The first 2 games are done with. Yung kila Arwin, kila Chris Ross, every series, ganun sila eh. Kasi you have to find ways to win eh. It's not just the physicality, it's not just the physical skills and the game planning, pero Yung ba marunong kang manginis?
Psychological.
Marunong kang mangasar.
Pati intense talaga maglaro.
And when you get into the head of your opponents,
Yes.
lamang ka na. Pag nag-react na sila, lamang ka na. But Ginebra is a veteran team, coach team, is so used to this kind of situation. So, kaya maganda yung serye eh. Di ba? Elite players, elite coaches, supposedly sister teams, pero hindi naman sila talaga ganun ang tingin sa isa't isa. So, magkasasakitan, wala pa yan.
Leaving everything on the floor. Coach Ronnie, as always, a pleasure having you on the show. And Pauline, thank you also for being here. And I will see you both next time. Again, we just had Sports Desk basketball analyst and PBA legend, the point laureate, Coach Ronnie Magsanoc, and our correspondent, Miss Pauline Verzosa.